Mother speaks.
I am Great Mother, Holy Spirit, Yin, Divine Mother, Cosmic Womb, Deep Space, the Moon, Dark Matter, the Void, the Black Hole, Hathor, Isis, Diana, Mami, Ishtar, Kali, Mami, and... Great Mother speaks directly to her children most alienated from her due to our birth mother experience. I know a lot of people have mama drama trauma, but few have the gall to admit it. Congratulations. You are of a rare human breed who has chosen to admit you suffer from a condition in which your mother projects unhealed aspects of herself onto you, causing emotional and or physical trauma. MDT acknowledgement is not about blame or shame of self or our mothers, but about embracing the comforter, your intuition, that still small voice of the Holy Spirit within us to heal. What does this have to do with astrology? Mama Drama Trauma is a soul contract between two souls who love each other deeply enough to insist upon mutual evolution in self-love and spiritual independence. Self-love through abandonment and or abuse, and spiritual independence through genuine discovery of the mother of all mothers. This eclipse season, discovery meets healing work. Since May of last year until November this year, the stars are aligning to wring out our whining tears. It features Great Mother Father energies with Leo in the North Node in tropical astrology and Cancer and Rahu in Vedic astrology. They kicked off this transit with an eclipse that the world stopped to watch in August, and now a year later they've come to the finish line with an energy that says we are not playing. Eclipses are powerful planetary yin, responsive, yang, responsible catalysts. As a result, here are a few recurrent emotions that may have intensified for you over the last year. I am or I am not responsible for the way my mother neglected or ignored me. I am or am not responsible for the way she made me feel unloved or unlovable. I am or am not responsible for her cruel or thoughtless teasing. I am or am not responsible for the bad names she called me. I am or am not responsible for her unhappiness. I am or am not responsible for her problems. I am or am not responsible for her choice not to do anything about her problems. I am or am not responsible for her drinking and or her being on drugs. I am or am not responsible for what she did when she was drinking and or on drugs. I am or am not responsible for her hitting me, or I am or am not responsible for her molesting me. People who admit they have MDT are on another level of consciousness and self-awareness. On the one hand, you may have noticed a pull toward more compassion, while on the other, a dogged determination to allow yourself to emerge as your true self beyond the emotional bondage of MDT. Your Vedic Jyotish sidereal moon sign and nodal axes indicates the nature of the soul and what the ego's intuitive response may be to its evolutionary journey. With Cancer and Rahu ruled by the moon, unconditional love, feelings, beliefs, and attitudes symbolizing the divine law of eternal grace and mercy. The mother, the anima, your soul sign, the Vedic omniscient cosmic orientation, emphasize where greater awareness is needed around impulsive action, reaction to MDT. and choosing your response. Don't let mistakes dissuade or discourage you. Remember, you are breaking a cycle that did not begin with you. So you are learning and doing a damn good job of it. In addition to it just being hard work, it doesn't feel like you're doing so great because, on the other hand, with Leo in the North Node ruled by the Sun, the Word, the Logos, symbolizing the divine law of divine order or worldly justice, the Father, the Animus or your Earth sign, Western Earth-centric, your Western moon sign and nodal axis indicates the emotional state of your soul while in your present body, your egoic reaction to these feelings, which is now culminating into feelings perhaps of revenge, scatteredness, and confusion around reverting back to old behaviors you thought you had overcome or have been in the process of changing, now suddenly self-abandoning what has been a difficult and burdensome uphill battle. Time to delete the default buttons: blame, shame, and denial. The final eclipses of 2018 will force us to stoically face and release our MDT guilt, fear, sadness, and rage, like the big boys and girls, gods and goddesses, Great Mother, Father, God, know we are and came here to be. Enjoy your June-August eclipse readings. Get what you need from them and use them as a reference guide when you lose your way. Great Mother, Father, God created the cosmos. The sun and the moon created Mercury, Venus, the Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, in that order. Everything is in divine order, without and within, as above, so below. Depending on the time and the place in which we were born, there is a unique cosmic calculus of those energies. It's important because we have a new nodal axis shift November 7th. And so the eclipses will then go North Node Cancer, South Node Capricorn in the Western, North Node Gemini, South Node Sagittarius in the sidereal. So we're going to have a shift with these nodes. Right now they are Cancer, Capricorn, and sidereal, Leo, Aquarius in the Western. And so that's what we're talking about this third quarter here and how these energies are affecting you in terms of previewing what the next nodal season is going to be, which is 18 months. Every nodal season is an 18-month period. The bottom line is that as the nodal shift occurs in November, what Great Mother is saying to you today is going to give you great insight about how to complete what can typically be a very excruciating period in your life with a feeling of success, with a feeling of knowing that you are back online, you are back on track with your soul purpose, that you are learning the lessons and integrating them into your life in ways that are advancing you in the goal of self-love and spiritual independence. This cycle of completion, now until the end of September, is challenging all of us to stoically face and release our MDT guilt, fear, sadness, and rage to the best of our ability. And that ability does depend on our cosmic calculus. It's unique to us. It's optimal for what our soul is needing to achieve in the place and time that we are at. And the awareness that you will have from this reading will assist you with that awareness and with a sense of accomplishment, a sense of knowing you truly are a dearly loved child of the Great Mother, Father, God. The full moon of June 28th is an intense one. It is in your 7th house of Sagittarius Capricorn, and it is reflected by a sun in your first house in Gemini Cancer. So you are looking at how you are expressing yourself to others at home, in your domestic situation, and particularly since we're talking about MDT, your mother. How are you expressing yourself to your mother in a way that makes sense to you? That's what this full moon is bringing up. And so if you have issues related to the authenticity of that expression at this particular time, that means that you haven't started the inner journey of MDT right now. And this message is for you because Kali is the card. And so there's some apprehension about that truth. That means that you already know what that truth is, what needs to be communicated, but you are not at that place of making that decision to do so. This is a first quarter root chakra moon card, which first quarter is all about taking the action based on a conscious decision. And you're not at that place yet because as we see Dorothy here singing Somewhere Over the Rainbow, you know something's about to go down, just like she knew Miss Gulch was about to come and get Toto, who symbolizes her intuition, but she's just wanting to connect with Great Mother, connect with her mother who has passed, those lullabies from long ago that she remembers just for some comfort. You're seeking internal refuge, Gemini Cancer. You're seeking internal refuge, and this is very challenging for you because you do have self-defined boundaries that are causing you pause, but the focus really isn't there right now. The reflection really isn't there right now on what that internal knowing really is. And so you don't have the clarity within yourself right now. Even if you have the fortitude and the wherewithal to communicate it, you can't because you haven't taken the time to do, as we see Dorothy doing, really get in touch with that internal space. Now, those of you who have, and those of you who are doing the internal work, you are really feeling this Martian energy in the South Node right now, in Capricorn Aquarius in your 8th house. You are sacrificing that sacred cow. That sacred cow of perceived safety and security, of denial. And you're really releasing the denial around your self-expression at home and in relationship to your mother in particular. You are ready to make the conscious decision to act on what those self-defined boundaries are that have caused you pause in the past. So wherever you are on this continuum, Gemini Cancer Moon people, this full moon is going to bring up for you and shed a light, this full moon light, on how you need to be communicating yourself to others. This may, for some of you, be expressed in your intimate relationships with your spouse. Patterns that have been conditioned through mama drama trauma have shown up in your relationships personally and professionally that no longer serve you. And you've been contemplating on this. It's caused you pause in the past. And now you've identified that, oh, this is definitely a result of my people pleasing that I established with my mom to keep the peace at home. Or this is definitely a result of my aggressive bullying behavior that I learned from my mother in order to protect myself. There are things that are coming to your realization that you're ready to address, but you're fearful because you know that you really don't have the tools to do it in a more healthy way. You've learned how to do it in an unhealthy way. And those of you who are just scared, you're just starting, it's just perhaps quite overwhelming. Great Mother is acknowledging that. We do have 5 planets in retrograde at this time. Now, although they're mostly outer planets, Western astrology resonates with outer planets. Vedic soul astrology, we work with what we can actually see. And so that's why the focus is on the Mars retrograde. But yeah, Jupiter, Saturn, Neptune, they're all in retrograde, Pluto at this time. And so you really resonate with the Cancer video, well then, yeah, you're feeling that pull, you're feeling that introspection, and it's very, very powerful. It's very regenerative, but it's taking you to places that you really didn't think you were going to have to go at this particular time. If you resonate more with the Gemini video, well, then you're going to really be at a place where you're ready to communicate those soul unctions from your authentic soul space at this time. Kali is speaking to that during this full moon, and it wanes down into a partial solar eclipse on the 12th of July. This partial solar eclipse is in your first house of Gemini Cancer, and of Gemini Cancer where the sun is shining its light. So it's really going to be pulling shadows from your identity that have caused you to delay what needs to be dealt with, as we see with Demeter. Demeter is about accepting your feelings, and this is very challenging with Mama Drama Trauma as we deal with feelings of guilt, shame, and blame. The fear comes from knowing that when we do express ourselves as we have in the past, or we have a remote recollection of what that was when we were small children, trying to express how we felt with our mothers and being shut down in one way or another, whether it was violently or whether it was manipulatively ignored, that isn't successful. And so it's best just to bury our feelings. It's best just to deny our feelings and go along with the program. This eclipse season is bringing up for you, sweetheart, the need to accept those feelings. And really within yourself, ask yourself, what is it that you want? What is it that you really want from your life? And from that, your mother. What are some realistic expectations that you can have? You may realize at this time the expectations that you have been in alignment with what I call the dilemma of us needing to accept the mother that we have in order to release the mother that we want. You know, we want her to be a certain way, and that creates all kinds of unrealistic expectations. That creates the shame. That creates the blame. That creates the back and forth, living in this illusionary veil of a relationship that is not based on the authentic truth of what you really need and want. Once we realize what those parameters are, then we can accept our feelings that they're not being fulfilled because they can't be fulfilled from this individual. She has mama drama trauma. It's a cycle. She hasn't dealt with her healing, so how can she give me what I need from an unhealed space? That's releasing the mother that we want so we can accept the one that we have. That is MDT healing. It's a process. It takes us accepting how we feel now, each and every moment. And although it may feel like too much is coming to you at once, go with the flow. This is a full moon card. This is when the waves of the oceans crash. Very high waves, very high currents come up. And the pull of Great Mother with these emotions during this new moon is an internal one. So although the new moon is when the waves wane, the outer space may feel that, there's a pull away from you. But this internal lunar space in this first house is really beckoning you to get in touch with your truth. This is a rebirth of a kind of a resistance that you have, this internal battle that you have with Mars in retrograde in the South Node. And so you are kind of digging your heels in with, wanting to really address this MDT issue, which is understandable with Cancer Moon. That's your mama. And so even if she has transitioned and she's not with you, those patterns and those rituals and those attitudes and behaviors that you hold on to in loyalty that are not serving you, you're too scared to let go of. This partial solar eclipse is going to pull those shadows out so that you can see with the full moon light of Demeter what your true feelings are about those attitudes, behaviors, those patterns, those conditioned approaches to life. And it's going to illuminate your sense of how you are experiencing your life, as it, you're going to have this kind of mirror put up to yourself of the life that you're actually living, and looking at yourself in this mirror of really what your desires are, really what your true wants are, really how you want to do relationship with others. And you're going to see the variance between that, the dissonance between that, this partial solar eclipse perhaps. This is your transformational opportunity. It opens up with this full moon in Kali with this fear, but this is only because you are the answer to your prayers. You don't realize that yet. And that is what Kali is here to transform. She's here to transform this reliance upon others for the validation of your wants and desires into an internal one. That's the death that's occurring. And that's the resistance that you will be experiencing through this eclipse cycle, perhaps. Gemini, Cancer, Moon people, that's the first part of a 3-part eclipse on the July new moon, the partial solar eclipse on the 12th. We see Hecate comes through during the full moon. As this moon burgeons into the fullness of itself in Capricorn Aquarius on the 27th, 28th of July, there is a total lunar eclipse, watershed moment that will reverberate itself throughout the upcoming months into a year to 18 months. This is a planetary purge. It is the reset button on that total solar eclipse we had back in August. The world stopped to watch. The moon covered the earth because that was a solar eclipse. A total lunar eclipse is this full moon sun covering the moon from your second house in Cancer, Leo. You have new values that are coming forward based on what you have released up to this point. Although there's been some trepidation we see with Hecate, Great Mother doesn't want you to overlook the fact that you're now at a crossroads. You've arrived at this space where your values are starting to override this group think. It's starting to override whatever those apprehensions were that you started this cycle with during the full moon in June were. And the clarity that's coming has a lot to do with how, on a soulful level, you want to organize your life as it relates to how you connect with others. The sun is shining a light on your self-expression in order to do this. And so by taking the time to work with these energies of this eclipse season, all of this is going to emerge, because I'm looking at nakshatras that are showing a great deal of support in order for you to do this. Hecate is the crescent moon 5th chakra card that speaks to nothing being able to come against you and be successful. Even if you sell yourself out, as Dorothy tries to do when the Wicked Witch wants those shoes and she says, take them. Now, Great Mother done gave her those shoes. Glinda the Good Witch told her not to take them all. But as soon as this witch says she's going to kill Toto, she says, take the shoes. Well, we really can't give away our birthright. We can try, which is why it feels so miserable when we do that. And what is our birthright? Our birthright is to be happy, healthy, and whole. And happiness with MDT is a process of self-acceptance. And so we fall in and out of happiness, but we cultivate and we regenerate it through these lunar cycles, working with Great Mother, speaking to us, her continuous flow of love. we cannot give away that birthright. We can try. And that's why Dorothy was so miserable. She's like, take the shoes, but give me Toto. And Toto is our intuition. And so she was on the right path. We're always doing the best we can with what we understand and what we have, which is why awareness is so important. Cultivating greater and greater awareness through these lunar cycles and through our self-growth and evolution is so important. That's why there's never any judgment or condemnation. We're dearly loved children who are never judged, condemned, or left alone because we're here to learn. That's what we're here for. So how can we be condemned for learning? It's just that simple. It's not a hairy, nary fairy, you're never judged, you're never condemned, woo-woo. No. How can you be judged and condemned if the whole point of you being here is to learn? It doesn't work. It doesn't make sense. So what does make sense is that Great Mother is saying she doesn't want you to overlook that this expression, this fifth chakra energy that's coming forward is probably getting kind of stuck in your throat during this lunar eclipse, and it's going to be washed out. It's going to be cleansed. It's going to be purified, and you're getting ready to have both. You're going to have both your intuition, what you have cultivated from getting closer to knowing yourself and accepting yourself and appreciating yourself and your wants and your needs in particular, and seeing where that distance is between that and how you're really living your life, focusing on that, setting intentions based on how you can cultivate that, and your shoes, health, happiness, and wholeness. You may be at this time confusing your survival instinct because, the witch is saying she's going to kill her, So, yeah, we have survival instincts, and it can feel like that. Oh, my gosh, what am I doing? I'm living in loving detachment from my mother. I got to talk to her every day or I'll die, And for some people, it's like that. And until you get to a space where you're ready to really focus on healing that dissonance between the life that you're living and the life that you're here to live, we're probably not ready to work with healing MDT. But at this particular time, you are confusing survival instinct with your soul intuition. Survival instinct is just that. It's physical. It's visceral. It's my body's about to be released by my soul, and I kind of still want to be here, And intuition, which is the knowing that, yes, the soul may be about to release this body, but I am an eternal being who, I've lived this life and I will live many others, and I have lived many others, and I've died many times. And so I can die this death of MDT so that I can live my life beyond MDT. Those of us with mama drama trauma are born twice, once by our birth mother and by ourselves through the healing of MDT. Now, there's no need to sacrifice intuition for survival. There never is one. We are here to be happy, healthy, and whole, and we need our intuition to do that. So, just like with Dorothy, she left that castle with both and the broom. So, you may not be feeling that way in July. If you are feeling that way in July, boy, what a watershed moment this is for you. You are totally hitting the reset button on your life, and you are riding the waves. You're riding the waves. Congratulations. This full moon on the 27th, 28th for you, this total lunar eclipse, is a closeout of a lot of very challenging energy for you. And you've given up a lot to be at this place. And in other words, your new life has cost you dearly. It's costed you your old one. And so that's why you have the levity, the lightness to ride the waves. And for others of you, it's time to pay up. It's time for you to pay up on that past life. And many of you, it may not be in a physical sense of living in loving detachment and establishing the boundaries that are firm enough for you not to be, triggered on a daily basis. But even when we're away from our mothers, and I know that living states apart for many years, you're still triggered because of the bond and because of the conditioning. And so the internal work starts. And so you've sacrificed whatever you've needed in terms of, again, that daily connection, or in terms of that validation as you do live your life and you make new moves and you make new choices. You sacrifice in that way in order to grow yourself and your self-confidence and your self-love, to give yourself that validation that Kali is speaking of in terms of establishing this cycle for you. That full moon at the end of July wanes down into a partial solar eclipse on the 11th of August. Now, this is actually when Mercury goes direct. It's been retrograde for a couple of weeks now. And for those of you who resonate with the Cancer moon, you may feel that now you are ready to communicate how you're feeling here, as we see with the Birth Mother card. The Birth Mother card is the soulmate card in the center of your spread, which is the preview for the next couple of years as we move into the nodal shift, November 7th. This is telling you that there is a faith crisis that seeks external validation still. So something may happen during this third eclipse at the end of this season that causes you to kind of want to turn back from the path that you're on. We see Dorothy imploring Aunt Em and Uncle Henry to listen. Miss Gulch is on her way to take Toto. She ran us off of her property, and I need my intuition. There's no two ways about it. Help me. And they're busy. So that's why there's no blame with Mama Drama Trauma. We know that our mothers love us. We love them. We just have the soul contract, and they are fulfilling theirs. That they are her surrogate parents, and they have to take care of her. They're counting chickens for the market. They keep her straight. She has her cute little gingham dress and her hair done and got her a dog. All that stuff costs money. And so they don't have time to indulge her. And so, again, she has to go for that internal validation. And so this partial solar eclipse is the rag wringing out the remaining water, the remaining emotions, the remaining soot, shadows associated with you standing your own ground as it relates to this soul contract. Our mothers are our first soulmates. They are souls that know us very, very well and love us deeply enough to withstand the insistence of us learning self-love and spiritual independence, even through the pain of it. So the center of your card being Birth Mother portends to the next couple of years, this really being an issue of you having a faith crisis of really whether or not you can stand on your own in your life without the validation of a mother who may be very toxic. You know that she's toxic, you know that she's sick, but you're going to look beyond that because that's your mama, and what she says goes. This creates for a very unstable emotional life that perpetuates MDT in your children's lives, in your work life, your professional life, in your personal life with your mate. And this is further emphasized by the nakshatra of Ashlesha, which is where both the sun and the moon are in Cancer Leo. This is in your second house. So your values, your faith, what you believe in your mother. You're struggling. And so if you're listening to this, my heart goes out to you. Ashlesha is the MDT nakshatra. This August 11th partial solar eclipse, new moon, can be extremely difficult for you. And so you will have just had your Lunar New Year video posted. And so you're going to get some additional support, Gemini, Cancer moon people. All of the Lunar New Year videos go up during the new year of your moon sign. So you will have had your Cancer new moon Lunar New Year video. And she's going to give you some more insights about this. But yeah, Ashlesha is the poster nakshatra for Mama Drama Trauma. It's all about genetic heritage issues. It's all about mother issues, intuitive perception, manipulative deception, entangled, entwined, kind of dangerous, devious clinginess and control of people and situations. It's a turbulent Cancer nakshatra. It's the most immature energy of Cancer. The sidereal doesn't just have a sign, it doesn't just have a nakshatra that breaks down the sign into 2 or 2.5 nakshatras. It further breaks down each nakshatra into 4 padas. And so this is why not every one of the same moon sign is going to have the same energy, is going to have the same emotional experiences. What is your nakshatra you were born in? And then what is your pada? So we don't even talk about padas here. Those are for personal readings, which what I would suggest that you have at this time if you are really struggling with this. Because that August new moon waxes into a full moon on August the 26th in your 9th, 8th houses cusp in Aquarius. Your center card was birth mother, but we see in your shadow position with this August full moon, Sophia. So you're not really recognizing your own wisdom. You're not really seeing that it's time for you to disclose your new values to others. You need to communicate them because the sun is reflecting its light from your 3rd house in Leo Virgo, and you need to communicate them clearly, concisely, and succinctly. And so maybe because you're in this journey, your new values may be that you're beginning the healing journey and you're just wanting to share with people that you are starting to focus on healing yourself. You're going to take it in minute steps, methodical step by steps, and maybe that's it. But when you have a full moon with a new moon card, it indicates that there's some struggle with that. Even if you've been working with your healing for a while, you still probably, if you've been working with your healing for a while, are just kind of reflecting on how do I do this? How do I do this? Because you have this Mars in the 8th house goes direct the next day on the 27th. And so you're going to get some direction, on how to do it. That's for sure, on how to release those apprehensions, because the inner wisdom that you have is calling you to trust that you know which way you need to go. We see the scarecrow here with the heart chakra card. And any way is going to get you there. Any way is going to get you to Emerald City, to the castle of Great Father, which is the law, the logos, the word, which is justice. It's about earthly justice. Any road is going to get you there as long as your intentions are sincere. And new moon energy is about setting intentions. So for you during this full moon in August, it's about getting clear about what your intentions are moving forward. It's about really feeling what those intentions are in your body and making your choice beyond what is purely cosmetic. What's going to look good at home, what's going to look good, appearances and how, this, it's either way, it's going to get you home. Everybody has their own journey, but the yellow brick road is a path of instinct. Yellow is the gut chakra. It evolves to the Emerald City, green, the heart chakra. And this requires faith, this journey to make the transition from the heart below chakras to the heart above chakras. It requires faith in what you already know for sure. And it's kind of like, the old Negro spiritual, soon and very soon, we are going to see the King, soon and very soon, we are going to see the King. Soon and very soon, you're going to get what your intention is. When you get there, you've done the inner work to be there. You're going to be heart above chakra from there on out, which has its own set of challenges of communicating now from a place of consistent and persistent awareness with the lower chakras. But this is where you're at. This is where you're at. This is Aquarius full moon with the sun in Leo Virgo. So you are needing to articulate these new values in ways that really reflect who you are, so that when you do make it into the inner sanctum of the castle and you do express your wishes and your desires, they are truly in alignment with everything that you've been working through, that dissonance from yourself and that mirror reflection, the life that you're truly living and the life that you want and that you need. All you're doing by the time you get there, just like Dorothy and the Three, you're just asking for that one thing that you need for your outer world to match your inner world. That's all that you're asking for. It's for that yang push to get you there. You know, you're tired. You've done as much work as you can. The Great Mother has guided you and has shown you there. But she's told you also that you're going to have to go there to ask for the rest. But you're going to have to be clear on what that request is. And that's what that full moon in August is asking you, so that by the time it wanes down into the new moon on September 9th, the reverberations of those eclipses in your third house will be felt as a knowing, as a way of thinking in Leo Virgo that allows you to express this new feeling, these desires, these clear wants in an articulate, ordered way. This is what Great Father demands: order, justice, clarity of speech, your words matching how you feel. And so this new moon, also in the third house of the sun in Virgo, is further emphasizing that, with the moon being in Maha. And Maha is ruled by Ketu, which is the south node in the sidereal. So it's a further intensified release of those very ordered expressions that are in your heart, as we see with Tara. Now, heart above energy that is centering on waning balsamic moon energy tells us that you are sacrificing something of value for something of greater value at this particular time in order to more accurately and succinctly express your wants and desires during this September new moon. So you really want to pay attention to what those Virgo new moon wishes are for those of you who resonate with your Cancer Western moon sign, and what those Leo new moon wishes may be for those who resonate more with the Vedic, because this is going to be a new moon that is going to support you in realizing those succinct wishes and intentions. So imagine you are home now. You are at that space of ego soul alignment. The ego that has been resisting what the soul has really come here for. And you see that in your mind's eye, in your third eye, just as Dorothy. She sees home, and no place like home. There's no place like home. There's no place like home 3 times. Knowing that you are safe and secure in all of your needs. You're safe and secure, and trusting that. Just imagine that, and imagining the power that you have over the illusion that you're not safe. Safe enough to truthfully articulate what your desires are now. They may be wishes that you didn't even know that you had at the beginning of this eclipse season. Write them down. Our angels, our guides, our ancestors, spirits in legion that are here to assist us with our ego soul alignment, our soul evolution, they speak the language of action. In church, in the temple, in the mosque. We call it ritual. Any spiritual tradition has a 3-act ritual that is enacted in order to communicate with spirit. Spirit speaks ritual. It does not speak what you thinking in your head and what you prayed in your head and your heart. Yeah, but if you notice the prayers, if you pay attention and you're perceptive enough and you observe your life and prayers that have been answered, by and large, they've been answered due to a follow-up of action on your part. Praying that you get some type of loan or something like that. You did the paperwork. You went ahead and filled out the loan. You went ahead and made the phone calls to meet with the bank manager, to meet with, to get a board of directors set up for your company, to whatever. Working it out in the process of the prayer. Working out in the process of the prayer is what this new moon is all about. And in articulating what your internal prayers have been to others is what you're going to begin to understand needs to take place. Now, it doesn't show that is exactly what you will be doing, but you will be preparing yourself for that because you're going home. You're going home to yourself. And when you go home to yourself, you're a new person. And so that new person has a different language, it has a different attitude, it has different behaviors, and we can anticipate that those will need to be communicated to others. Now, when we live from a disempowered space, we do not know our divinity. We do not know, we're never judged or condemned or left alone. That is what terrifies people from healing MDT. Yeah, they know they're going to be different. And no, I don't want to do that because I don't know how that's going to be. Well, we don't get to control the process. None of this is about control. All of this is about surrendering, not giving up, but allowing the soul contract to act its process out the way it needs to for our soul evolution. It's bigger than us. We're aligning with the program. Does that mean that we don't have free will? Absolutely not. We're aligning at a free will choice. Or not aligning, saying, no thanks. I think I'll pass. Either way, it's all good. It'll all get us there. This lifetime or the next. We all evolve in self-love and spiritual independence. The full moon in September, Nefertiti comes up. This is the throat chakra card. This is the waning gibbous moon card that is all about sharing what you feel, what you're expressing. And it is an Aquarius. It is 9th, 8th house energy for you. It's about owning your beauty. This is when Dorothy does take the broom back to Oz in order to receive the wishes that she and the 3 have asked for. And so this is where you will be. Perhaps you will be feeling an even greater purge happening as a reverberation of the eclipses at this time, because it's the sun in your 4th house in Virgo, Libra, and your home situation, your relationship with your mother is now being communicated in ways that you are connecting with a sense of integrity that is bigger than you, is bigger than her, it's bigger than your relationship. It's about aligning with a universal love, a beauty that is being expressed through you that she is seeing perhaps for the first time. You are now in a place where you've been probably practicing with some of this communication, or it seems that a lot of this has just been internal for you up to this point. But now with Nefertiti, Great Mother is saying you need to let go of anything that's preventing you from speaking it. Take what is yours, just like Dorothy in this card, and take it with grace and without apology. You have the right to be happy, healthy, and whole. Shine, be glad, and of great cheer. Fully use all that is yours to get what you need. Use that newfound confidence to articulate what those needs are that you've never expressed. I've always needed to be able to talk to somebody about, being a woman. And I've tried to do that, and it hasn't been very helpful. It's caused us to have all kinds of disagreements and that sort of thing. And so I've been spending a lot more time talking about these issues with so-and-so or with this group or whatever, and I'm taking that burden, off you. I don't want that to continue to disrupt or make you feel uncomfortable. I understand. I've heard the challenges that you had with your mother, whatever like that. I'm not going there with you anymore. Whatever the conversation needs to be on a practical, live in your day basis, those things need to be interjected at this particular time. If you've done the work of Byron Katie and you've not really got involved and gotten your hands dirty and dug into it, I encourage you, BYRONKATIE, right here on YouTube, to do those worksheets so that you can have those conversations. Those of you who prefer to read the work of Susan Forward, Mothers Who Cannot Love, Toxic Parents, she has other books. You can see through her bibliography, other books to get to help you with the language that you need. Working with a life coach such as myself, working with the Great Mother Speaks Oracle deck will also help you with the language. Nefertiti is all about taking your power back. That is a process. And certainly during the September full moon on the 24th, in your ninth and eighth houses of Aquarius, you're going to be looking at it's kind of a cusp energy, kind of Pisces and Aquarius in the Western cusp energy we have here, this ninth and eighth house. You walking your talk. You've let go of all of this stuff and riding the wave, many of you, and you're walking your walk with your home life. You're beginning to even communicate with your children differently and say things such as, I know in the past I used to such and such, but now I'm going to do this because I'm really working on that part of me. And I see that I really need to work on that. And I don't want to talk to you in that way anymore. So I'm just going to ask you to do this. And let's try it like this. I really would like for you to listen to me. I don't want to be hollering and shouting and this and that and the other. Do you hear what I'm saying? Do you understand what I'm saying? I really don't want to go there. And it's hard for me to change. But can you help me? Sometimes we have to ask our kids to help us. And they will. They will if they're able. And if they're not, you really do need some support. I really do hope these readings are doing that for you. And your facilitation for this cycle is Maya. So the Maya card is a new moon card of the third eye that's telling you that that veil is being lifted from your eyes and from your life. And that is what is facilitating your ability to communicate in these new ways, to take on the challenge of changing your life in ways that you've been wanting to do for a long time, or that you're just realizing, some of you, that you want to do. Trust what you see in your life. You see what you see, what you see. Speak it. Trust what you're feeling in your life. You feel what you feel, what you feel. Allow that feeling to take its course and observe what it's doing. Communicate with it. If it's a ucky, yucky feeling, which this eclipse season promises to bring out in some of its transits, it's certainly going to be an opportunity for you to ask it, why are you here, sadness? Why are you here, depression? What do you want me to know? Not in a confrontational way, but in a communicative, connecting way, connecting with the answer, and it will come through. It will come through. State the obvious. You feeling sad? I'm really sad today, kids. It just came over me. I haven't talked to Mom in a while. I told you I've been working on healing myself, and I just really felt sad today about that. But I know that if I do, we'll just start fussing again. And when we start fussing, I'm mean to y'all. Our children do not do what we say. They do what we do. They see us. They see what they see. They feel us. They feel what they feel. State the obvious. This is how we break the MDT cycle. This is how we take our power back. And working with Maya, the illusion card, to facilitate that pulling of the curtain back, this world of illusion that we have gotten caught up into just to get by, just to survive, you will be able to always return to that truth within you. Keep pulling the peeling of that onion back. Keep pulling it back. Listen to yourself and take the action accordingly so that your guidance can know exactly where you are and exactly what you need, particularly during the new moon phases with writing those wishes down. And your final outcome is that you are taking responsibility for your yellow brick road path, trusting that gut, trusting that visceral, that instinctive knowing that says, this is how I feel right now. It may not be connecting with that intuitive Gemini source, and you want to check the links below to verify. You may also be Cancer in your sidereal, but you are connecting with that part of you that grounds you on this planet, that survival part of you that is saying, this is a safe place for me to be. This is not a safe place for me to be emotionally. It is not safe for me to continue in this house at this time. It's time for me to go. Whether it's on a visit to someone who you're just realizing, wow, I developed this relationship with this person because they act just like my mother. They treat me just like her. I don't need this. Or it is you in a relationship that you're realizing is not going to change and you're going to have to change it. Again, these are all processes, and this can be overwhelming for many of us. But this eclipse season is no joke. Great Mother, Father, God did not come to play. They help us to gain sway over our lives at this time. I hope that this has truly helped you and that you realize that by taking responsibility for your feelings and for your needs, that you are supported in doing that. That is your outcome for this season as you work with these energies and trust your birthright to be happy, healthy, and whole. Thank you so much for listening. Remember that support is available for you at greatmotherspeaks.info. We have support meetings on Sunday and Monday nights with the Join Me app. It's join.me/Mama Drama Trauma. Just tune in with us, and it's just a call-in conference call. A few people get together, and we have an agenda of support. So if you want to know more about that, check the website. And remember, neither these readings or my coaching work are intended to replace, but rather enhance work and therapy, support groups, or 12-step programs. Some of you may elect to do this work on your own, but if you are an adult victim of physical or sexual abuse, I believe that professional help is essential for you. If you abuse drugs or alcohol to deaden your feelings, you must deal with your compulsion before attempting to work with the energies in the ways suggested here. There's no way to gain control of your life if you are being controlled by an addiction. For that reason, I insist that any of my clients who are substance abusers also join a program such as Alcoholics Anonymous or Narcotics Anonymous. The readings here are intended for those who have undertaken the healing work of MDT with a minimum of 6 months sobriety. Your emotions are extremely raw in the beginning phases of recovery, and there is always the danger that uncovering and exploring painful experiences during this time may cause you to slip back into substance abuse. It would be both unrealistic and irresponsible of me to suggest that if you follow the readings as suggested here, all your problems will disappear overnight. But I can assure you that if you do this work as suggested by Great Mother and you are otherwise healthy and on your healing path, exciting new ways of relating to yourself and to your parents and others are provided here, and you will be able to define who you are and how you want to live your life moving forward from this eclipse season. Not only that, you will discover a new sense of confidence and self-worth, self-love, and spiritual independence through the love of Great Mother. Thank you so much for listening, and all the best to you and yours during this eclipse season. Until next time, remember Great Mother loves you, and I do too.